Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to Jack is Off to another adventure. So I'm here in San Jose right now, not because there's a Chinatown. There's actually no longer a Chinatown here in San Jose, but there is a Japantown. So today, Jack's off to San Jose's Japantown. Let's go. Alright, so we're kind of in the outskirts of Japantown, but as you can see, Okayama sushi. When you think about Japanese food, the first thing you think about is sushi. So when you see a sushi restaurant here, you know we're pretty close to Japantown. And also look at these apartments over here. Look at the windows, Japanese style. And then you also have banners telling you you're in Japantown, so you know you're in Japantown right here. Alright, and over here, we have the Okita Hall, which used to be a theater for the Japanese community, but right now it's like a rehearsal space for the San Jose Taiko. And when you look at all these crosses over here, I'm pretty sure it's a church also. And one cool thing about Japantown here are these benches. First you have the go board, and then you have a little description here. And this one talks about like the theater and stuff, which is right outside the Okita Hall. So yes, this used to be a theater. But anyways, whenever you encounter some of these benches here in Japantown, just take a minute and read some of these nice descriptions over here. The first generation of Japanese immigrants that came here in the late 1800s were known as the Ise. And when they came to the Santa Clara, San Jose County, they needed to create a safe haven for themselves because America was and still is hella racist. So they established Nihonmachi, which is Japantown, here next to what used to be a Chinatown. And it was developing until 1942 when the Japanese War Hysteria kind of forced all the Japanese living in the West Coast to relocate to these relocation camps like Manzanar and Wyoming and Utah and stuff. So it was a ghost town here for a little bit until the war was over and they came to resettle. And today, this is what Japantown looks like. So over here you have the main strip, which has markets, restaurants, and shops. But I want to go this way first before we check out the main strip. Alright, so fun fact, I actually lived in San Jose for a couple years before I moved back to San Francisco. And when I was living here about 6-7 years ago, these were not here. So we're about to see some new $1 million condos right here. But in terms of this side though, we have some of the buildings that were here when I was living here, like the Minato Japanese restaurant. You also have Nikkaku Japanese art and craft store. See, and you got a Pikachu over there for Pikachu enthusiasts. And then check out this building right here. A very Japanese style looking building. How's it going? I know over here they sell pizza, J-Town pizza. All right, so I looked them up online and it's straight up a pizza joint, like an American pizza. See if they got a menu right here. Cheese, pepperoni, Hawaiian. The margarita, is that how you spell margarita? But anyways, it's kind of disappointing that they don't sell like Japanese pizza, right? But what is a Japanese pizza? Okonomiyaki? Or if you want to Americanize the Japanese pizza, it would be teriyaki chicken pizza. Because once you put teriyaki sauce on anything, it becomes, ooh, Japanese style, right? Like gochujang and Korean food. You put gochujang, oh, it's Korean now. And over here we have the Filipino Community Center. Let's see what's going on in here. But from my Selena's Chinatown video, we learned that early on, the Japanese, the Chinese, and the Filipinos were on the same team. Now, I'm sure if you're living in Asia, the different Asian countries probably have some like disagreements and disputes and whatnot. But over here, all Asians stick together like rice. And we also have this very old looking Tong building right here. So, wow, it looks pretty new down here, but the style like up there, when you look at the roof, it looks pretty old. Oh wow, and look at this. Look at this brick building right here. In the front, you can see laundry. So this probably was a laundry building, but this brick building looks old as hell, like it's built 100 years ago. Let's see if we have any other stuff here. You have kin something. I can't really make out what it says, but this brick building looks like it's been built like from 100 years ago. Holy shit. You know what? This could be an old Chinese building, because I know that there used to be a Chinatown around here somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but Nihonmachi was built next to it. And back then, the Chinatowns were always burned down by racist ass motherfuckers, so they could build this brick building to kind of protect themselves against fire. And this could be old Chinatown right here. Holy shit. All right, so this is pretty much for this street. We got some apartments here, and then we have some new apartments down here. And down there, there's a market I want to check out, but not right now because I don't want to carry some stuff. So let's go back to the main strip, and then we'll go back to the market later. Let's go. All right, so we're on the main street now, where all the shops are. Look at this giant fish sushi. We also have Nijiya there. When I was living down here, I used to go there all the time because when you don't want to cook, they have some bomb-ass bentos. Some of these shops look open right here. So yeah, you have a lot of these like little shops here. Some are closed, some are open, but they're not boarded up like San Francisco though. And across you have all the restaurants. Got a long line here. How's it going? Some manju here, some sweets. And then you also have a ramen to go. Any noodle to go, whether it's pho, ramen, whatnot, just doesn't taste as good when you bring it to go. It must be the soup or the texture of the noodles when you cook it at home. Outdoor shop. And then here we have the official gates of Japantown right here in the middle of it. All right, so on this street corner, first, we'll have some information about the early settlers. So if you want to learn some history, read up on this. Next, we have the Ise pioneer with a big stone right here to symbolize the durability of the first generation Iseis. Check out this big stone. It's good that nobody vandalized it yet, and I hope no one ever does. And then you have this big, long light right here. It supposedly glows at night, but I won't be here at night, so just trust me. And then last, we have a giant, I guess it's a bench or a stone bench right here, known as the Voices of Issei. So like messages passed down by the first generation. You have stuff like itadakimasu, which is something you say before you eat. Like the Japanese people are so polite. They let you know before they eat. Not like Americans, they're like, can't you see I'm eating? You don't gotta say it, but Japanese people are very polite. You also have Ishokeme shinasai, try as hard as you can. So where's the part that tells you to be an overachiever? All right, so what we have here is the Ise Memorial Building. Check this building out. It doesn't really look Japanese, but it used to be a very important building for the Japanese community. And nowadays it has the San Jose Taiko, the J-Town Community TV, blah, 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 blah. And this, at some point, used to be the Japanese Kuwabara Hospital. And now it's just office buildings, I guess. You even have a plaque. And check this out, you also have one of these in San Francisco's Japantown too. What do you call this? But yeah, it's very detailed. It kind of, oh look, you got the fish market. And some of the faces of the early Japanese settlement. This is probably when they got relocated. And then some of the more traditional scenes of Japan. All right, so check out these benches right here. You have names of different places. You have Manzanar, Tool Lake, Heart Mountain. So these are the places that the Japanese were relocated to in World War II. And here we have the Japanese American Museum of San Jose. I'm sure it's closed because of COVID, but look at the architecture though. Too bad you can't really go in there. I'm sure they have a lot of neat history inside. You might even find Godzilla inside there, who knows? Wow. All right, so we're back on the main street, and this part looks pretty dead. See, things are closed. And then for once we have a chessboard, not a go board on the benches right here. And then across the street, you have Shabu Shack. Asians love their hot pot. Especially Taiwanese people. Like in Taiwan, it's hot as shit, but people just can't stop getting hot pots in Taiwan. You got an ice cream shop. And I don't know what the situation is with San Jose and their outdoor dining, but it looks like they can't have it. And look what we have here. We have the San Jose Omagatti Korean restaurant. So just like the San Francisco Japantown, they also have Korean restaurants in Japantown. But you know what they need though? They do need a Koreatown in NorCal, for real, not like the unofficial one in San Francisco. And check out these art on these electrical boxes, the Daruma. This is pretty neat. I gotta say though, the Japantown in San Jose definitely has more artwork. Here's something interesting I want to show you guys. So first you have the Taqueria Corona. An unfortunate name and an unfortunate time. But I'm sure they sell like legit Mexican tacos and stuff, not like Japanese tacos or teriyaki chicken tacos. And then over here, you see these two Chinese looking buildings. So this used to be a Chinese restaurant called Wings, but unfortunately had to close down before COVID. But as you can see, they have the very Chinese architecture, and even like the vents up there, they look very Chinese looking. So I gotta say this, I'm not sure if this part was Old Chinatown or over there, but you can tell there's remnants of Old Chinatown here. And over here, we have a Japanese store, the Nichibei Busan. It looks closed. I hate it when stores close, but in this case, you gotta look at it from a different perspective, right? Every time I walk into a Japanese store with no intentions of buying something, I walk out with a credit card debt. So it's sad that it's closed, but I won't be losing money here. So yeah, so this strip is pretty much the end of Japantown. So let's go down this way. There's a Buddhist temple and then also the market. Let's go. All right, so even though the main religion in Japan is Shinto, Buddhism also played a huge part. So we have a Buddhist temple right here. And when we were in Salinas, we also saw a huge Buddhist temple in the Japantown/Chinatown area. So to be consistent, we also have one here. And check this out. This thing looks nice here. It's also good lighting too during the afternoon if you want to take pictures. They have a little garden area right here. It looks very nice. Japanese gardens always look really nice. But I guess this is a Japanese Buddhist temple. Super clean. I gotta say, Japantown here and Japantown in San Francisco, the streets are super clean. Like you don't see any trash around here, even though it's downtown San Jose. And here's a stone you can sit, but the reason why I wanted to point this out right here is because it says Ichigo Ichi-e, which means live in the moment, which is super surprising to me because Asian culture in general, it's always about investing in the future, right? Like a lot of Asian parents are like working super hard, you know, saving money for the future, oh, save for later. They don't really spend time now. So I find that quote very interesting, how it preaches to live your life now rather than invest too much in the future. Even though you should though, you should still invest in the future, but just, you know, balance it out a little bit. And here we have Happy House. Check that out. Teriyaki Express. This must be the Japanese fast food chain right here. This and Yoshinoya. How's it going? Like I said, you slap teriyaki sauce, it becomes Japanese. Prove my point. And I don't know how many of you are big fans of Panda Express, but Panda Express is supposed to be like Chinese food, right? And yet they sell teriyaki chicken, so There you go, Happy House, Teriyaki House right here. And here we go, Santo Market. I've actually never been here, even though I lived in San Jose for like 4 or 5 years back then. Let's go see what's inside. All right, so because of COVID, you can't go inside. So they have that pickup window right there. Got some good stuff. Show you guys later, maybe. Anyways, so that's pretty much it for Japantown. But since we're here in San Jose, there is actually one more spot I want to go to before we leave. So let's head there. Alright, so I've mentioned Chinatown many times in this video, but what happened to San Jose's Chinatown? So over here, we have the Fairmont, and actually Chinatown was here until people started burning them down and they had to relocate and they kept burning them down. Fucking racist ass motherfuckers. But here at the Fairmont, there's a little plaque in memory of the burning of San Jose Chinatown, May 4th, 1887. So here you have it, a remnant of San Jose's Chinatown. Alright, so before I wanted to end this video, there's a history park here in San Jose I wanted to check out, but unfortunately they're closed. The reason why I wanted to go in there is because they have this old Chinese building in Cantonese called the Gung, which is the Temple of the Five Gods. Which is kind of weird because if you read the Gung in the wrong tones, Gung, that means it's not successful. That's what it means, Gung. And Chinese people are super superstitious, so I'm not sure who the hell let that one go, Gung. But anyways, I saw a YouTube video of Gung, and then basically it had a bunch of artifacts when they were doing excavation work at the Fairmont Hotel. So they found a bunch of artifacts. And that museum, the Gung, it's also a museum where they have these artifacts in there. I'll put the YouTube link in the description below so you guys can kind of check it out. So even though there's no longer a Chinatown here in San Jose, there's still a lot of Chinese people living down here. But when you think about the Asians down in San Jose, you think about the Vietnamese people. But we'll save that for another video because in San Jose, we actually have a Vietnam town and I have to go check it out one of these days. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until my next video, Jack is off. I know you guys are dying to know what I got from the Santo Market, but don't worry, I'll make this super quick. So the first thing I got was the tri-tip bento. The meat had a lot of flavor, but it was kind of dry, and maybe because I'm Asian, they gave me hella rice, yo. The next thing I got was the spicy poke bento with seasoned rice. The poke was good, but kind of on the salty side, but that's cool, because I also got myself some dessert. The best thing after a salty meal, some sweets, and check out these mochis I got. When you cut them down the middle and you spread them, yes, these are big, juicy, sweet, strawberry red bean mochis, and this was the highlight of my adventures. Alright, thanks guys, I'll see you guys next time.